Good day, everyone. Welcome to Barsan Homestead. We're out in the shop. We're fixing stuff again today. And I bought a fuel pump from Fill-Rite about, 10 years ago at least. But I only used it a very short time. And I was filling up a D8 cat one day. And I went to back up after filling it. It's a 20 gallon a minute pump for diesel fuel. And was backing up and it just started smoking. The smoke was billowing out of the pump. So I jumped out and ran back and unplugged it. And I finally got a look at it later on. And anyway, what was wrong with it, it looked like two wires had, inside the electrical box where the power comes in from your truck battery had shorted out. And they had rubbed through on the case somehow. I don't know how that happened in such a short time, but maybe we'll figure it out here in a minute. Anyway, I talked to Fill-Rite about it. They were excellent. The company was excellent to deal with because I had only pumped a few tankfuls of fuel. And they gave me some warranty parts and sent them to me. So I'll show you what we found. Okay, so we pretty much have I pretty much have the pump stripped right down here right now. Of course, this is where your fuel comes up right here from your tidy tank, comes in your pump vein. I believe it's a vein. Can't remember what kind of pump it is, but anyway, the pump pumps through here and then goes straight up out here, out the hose to whatever machinery you're filling up. So right in there, that little hole has a seal. Because here's the end caps off it, one off each end. And right here is the armature. This is the one that's out of it, right here. And this is what sticks out where I just showed you that little hole, and then the seals go on that. Well, as I took it apart, I had fixed these two wires that I saw were melted. And I thought, well, we'll test it. We tested in the vise and went, but it was really growly. I went outside and I pumped a tidy tank of fuel, filled the machine up. And on this end here, this housing here fits on there. Let me see if I can lift that up there for you. There's where it plugs into the truck. I just used an electrical plug around. So this would go on like so. Can't quite slide it over, but that would be up tight. So this end here has totally electrical in it. The armature is up inside there. And then you have a little, your switch control and stuff in here for turning it on and off. This piece with your little switch right there. It turns it on and off. Well, when I took that apart, because I went outside, I had gone outside, pumped a tank of fuel, and this fits on just like so. It's like that. Well, just as I finished, right at the bottom edge down here, I noticed a drip of fuel. And I walked over and I wiped my finger underneath here, like so, and it was wet. So I brought this back in the shop. I thought, well, we'll strip it right down this time. Inside here, there, you can see the two magnets with the blue lines on them. They were free in there. So much diesel fuel had came through that far hole that actually when I pulled this cover off, this cover here, it was, filled up pretty much up to there with diesel fuel through all the electronics. And that diesel fuel was coming right through the armature, the brushes, and everything. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it that it could be coming through there. Here is the old armature. And you can see where the magnets had come loose. And they had made some rub marks here on it. This bearing is thrashed because it's really rough and growly. It has been washed by diesel fuel, but the fuel went right through this motor, right through here where the brushes are rubbing away on there, arcing away. I'm shocked it never caught on fire. I am just shocked. There's the pump there. I think they call that a vane pump. I can't remember. Maybe they call it an impeller, but that's a little pump out of the other end. So here is the picture of what you're supposed to have on the end of the shaft. It shows the end of the shaft right there. You have an O-ring, a black fiber piece, an aluminum or stainless steel piece, another O-ring, a washer, a spring, a washer, and then a lock ring. This is the two sets. The bottom set here is what came in the new package. Exactly what the picture shows. This is what came out of the pump. It was missing this O-ring and that stainless piece, which are critical to sealing the pump. So no doubt it leaked from factory, and what had happened, and I mean, I realize stuff, there's days things just don't go right, but no fault to the company. They're excellent pump. They got a, well, look at the warranty. They, sent these parts over and it'll fix it right back up. I had no idea that these magnets were loose in here, but so much diesel fuel went through there, it cleaned the epoxy off that had them glued in there. So now, I don't know if you can see, but I've took some JB Weld epoxy and I glued them in there really good. They're in there. And hopefully they'll stay in there where they're supposed to be. So what we're going to be doing is assembling this now, getting her back together. I let that dry over 24 hours. So now she's time to reassemble. Actually, very pleased with the company. Sent new armature, new bearings. Everything is on there. It's just beautiful. It'll be a brand new pump again, as it should be. It never did have much use on it. Like I say, a very short amount. Got those set in there really nice. Now, get this other cap back on. Change my angle in the vise here a little bit. Don't want to do it up too tight in there. Don't want to bust that cast housing at all. The brushes they're hardly even worn. Everything was hardly worn at all. It's so little wear on this pump. It has hardly done much in its life. Just to tap it on, but it seems to be going on quite nicely with just that little bit of 2 threads on one bolt, 2 threads on the other bolt. Pulling it in really nicely. looking there. Make sure she's still lining up really nice. Looking good. Now, I believe I will just get my torque wrench. Take me a second. Now, this little, they call it a motor protector. That guy's got to go in there. And when you install it, they say to make sure these tabs are to the top side. Not sure what the difference would be, but we'll do as the directions say. Tabs to the top side. Here is the little motor protector that I just put in there. It's got a little shelf it sits on, but the tabs are off-centered on it, and they want them as high up to the top as they can be. Black wire goes on the right, white on the left. Not sure if that makes a difference, but that's the way it came off, and that is the way it's in their photo right there. They give pretty detailed photos, actually. Pretty nice. As you can see here now, I'm just going to set up the red wire to center and the yellow wire to this side here, which will be this guy and this guy will go on. They go right onto the little switch right here, which is on the cover, and that will go on next. There's a rubber seal on each door. It's sticking up high yet. It's got a good seal on it. I mean, this was full of fuel up to somewhere in this area, and it barely dripped out. It was, I'm sure the Lord just let me see it, you know, to know something else was going on. The pump was really growly too. I put an R on here when I took it off, just so I knew red went on the center one, and obviously the yellow had to go on the other side, but just a little thing that helps me remember easier when doing stuff like this. Lots of room in there for it to tuck in. Little Torx screws. And I suppose the person should make sure your pump still, or the switch still moves freely for the pump. I can hear it clicking in there. When I took this pump apart and I took the fuel pump off of this end and I just had the electric motor, I could not turn that motor by hand. It was really stiff. Like, I mean, it was stiff. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd. I wouldn't think it'd be that hard of a bite on that pump to, you know, that electric motor to turn it. But it wasn't. It was because the two magnets on the inside had come loose, and they could actually grab right on to the armature. I can just take it by hand and go. It spins very nicely, very freely. Okay, so we are now going to install that row of, that whole row makes the seal for the pump. There they are. Now, they give particular instructions for this piece right here. Down below, they highlight it on this little shaft, just it by itself. Now, I don't know if you can, that'll get clearer there. you can see that one shoulder is higher on that little, I'm going to call it fiber bushing, than as in the picture. It is B in the picture there. A is the O-ring, and B is that fiber. And you have to put that lower side of that collar onto the pump first. So we'll get this set up. I'm going to guess if you didn't put that on first, that you would have a leak still. Now it does say to lubricate these O-rings. So we'll grab a little dibble of oil here and we'll just give them a little lubricant. Somebody just happened to leave some 75-90 weight laying there on the counter, which I consider perfect. Help hold it on there. I think I'll lubricate each piece actually. I can't see how it would hurt. Small side of that shoulder needs to go in there first. A little drop of that stuff goes a long ways. Now we'll just take this little O-ring pick and make sure that seats in there nicely. Back in the hole. Small collar in first. Next, stainless steel bushing, which has a flat side. Hope you can see that. Flat side and a concave side. Flat side goes in. Just going to put a drip oil on that too. Nothing runs dry against them O-rings or anything then when you first start up. Next is the little black O-ring. Get it lubricated up. I do believe it fits right inside this one here. It does, fits right in there. Now, little stainless steel washer. Stainless steel spring. I'm going to guess it's stainless steel. Now another stainless steel washer. And then a itty bitty snap ring, which could just be a little bit fun to get on there. Now you're probably saying, go grab the snap ring pliers. Well, we didn't have a set small enough for that little tiny hole that's in this thing. It is a small snap ring. Put her onto the shaft. Now push it back till I find the groove in the shaft, and she'll be locked in. I can tell you it was not that tight when I took it off, being as those little parts were missing in there. I can still turn it and put that little O-ring wrench in there. All right, that should have that. Now we're ready for the pump itself here, but being as it runs dry, I'm just going to put a little smear of oil in here. It's not going to hurt this one bit. Diesel pump goes to my pickup backhoe. Could have a little extra drip of oil in there. I can't see how that'll hurt a thing. Okay, we've got the vane pump. Pump itself. And she's in, just like that. Sheer keyway. We're in business. Okay. The bolts on the end cap over the pump are done up. This is all done up. Everything's moving freely. The pump moves freely. The electric motor, of course, has to move with the pump. It moves freely. We're probably ready to put her onto the tank down there and give her a try. See how she's working now. See how it sounds. That's a small screen on it right here, just to keep impurities from getting into the pump. A couple wraps of Teflon, Teflon tape, just to hold it from any little weeping that might occur. You just never know. Tight. I like to run a piece of strap at the connection if I can, just to help hold the hose from taking all the pressure on it right there when it's being pulled on and going around the corner, being pulled that way. It actually helps it a lot. Takes a bit of the tension off her, helps give it a little protection. Get some power hooked up here. Right under here, it was just putting out the drips of fuel, and I was just like, oh my goodness. That gas should be coming right through that electric motor down here, which it was. Got lots of power right now. I think more than it ever does. She works fine. Fill-Rite pump. It has not had a lot of use, even though it looks old. It's just been sitting. The name, Tuttle, I think it is, or Tuthill. Anyway, these guys, I would buy a pump from them at any time. I find them very good to deal with. They're high quality pumps. There's thousands of these things out there. And they've been very good to stand behind their product. Somebody just missed a part. And it's nobody's, it could happen to anybody. It's happened to me. But I really appreciate it. They're all the parts they sent and standing behind their product. Great company. Hope these videos been useful to you guys. If you got to redo your pump or anything at any time, nothing to it. Just a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. And thanks for watching. God bless to you all. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.